It's getting worse.
The January 16, 2018 meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon? Present. Councilman Farkas?
Here.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Present.
Councilman Legati?
Here.
Councilwoman Mayer? Here. Councilman Revelinsky?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 present.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the meeting statement?
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of this regular business meeting of the Borough Council was provided by the adoption of a resolution and the posting, filing, and forwarding of a copy of the same to official borough newspapers, Home News Tribune, and Star Ledger publishing companies on January 11, 2018. Public participation in this meeting will be permitted during public hearings and after the agenda of scheduled matters has been completed.
Thank you. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer, followed by a salute to our nation's flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is consideration of minutes. Tonight we have the minutes of the November 13, 2017 meeting. You've had the opportunity to read the minutes. What is your pleasure?
Move that the minutes be approved.
Second. I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilman Revelinsky, that the minutes are approved as typed. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye on January 2nd, abstain.
Just November.
Oh, November, sorry, abstain.
Just, yeah. Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 5 yeas and 1 abstention.
So moved. Okay, next we have the minutes of the December 18th, 2017 council meeting. You've had the opportunity to read the minutes. What is your pleasure?
I move that the minutes be approved as typed. Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Kerber, seconded by Councilman Legati, that the minutes are approved as typed. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Abstain.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 5 ayes and 1 abstention.
So moved. Okay, next we have the minutes of the January 2nd, 2018 Reorganization Council meeting. You've had the opportunity to read the minutes. What is your pleasure?
I move that the minutes be approved as typed.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the minutes are approved as typed. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Okay, next we have audience comments and questions on the resolutions and bills and claims listed on the agenda. If you have any comments or questions, please use the microphone, center of the room, give your name and address for the record when recognized. Remember, comments and questions are limited to the resolutions and bills and claims listed on the agenda. With that, I will open audience comments. Seeing none, I will close audience comments. Next on the agenda is bills and claims. Will the clerk please read Resolution 18-040 by title?
Authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $4,684,156.74.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilman Revelinsky, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Okay, next we have reports of standing committees and introductions of resolutions. A consent resolution has been prepared to cover the 15 resolutions listed on this evening's agenda. If any member of the council wants any of those resolutions acted upon individually, please give me the resolution number, and it will be pulled from the consent resolution.
Mr. Mayor, 18-044 and 18-048 for me.
Mr. Mayor, 18042, 18050, and 18055.
18042, 18050,
50 and 55.
and 18055. So,
You need to pull.
I have one also.
oh, go ahead.
I did.
I request 18046 Bolton.
Okay, so we have 4445.
Basically every other one.
Councilman Revelinsky?
44.
44 and 45?
No.
4-2.
4-2.
42?
Yeah, 42, 44,
Okay.
46, 48,
18046, okay.
50.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh,
whoa.
sorry.
You're getting a little out of control there. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I had one, too, that I had a question.
Sure. Which one?
18049.
Okay, now, as I call them up, you guys let me know if I forgot one or not. 1844, 42.
No, 42.
42.
Okay.
Go in order.
Hold on, no. I don't have them written in order. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
read them out.
I got
and
it.
everybody deal with me because I'm the mayor.
Go ahead. That's fine.
044, 042, 046, 050, 055, 040, we had 46, and 049.
48.
48 and 49. Right.
18048. Okay. So, to put them in order, 042, 044, 046, 048, 049, 050, and 055. Okay? And later on, I'll color something in. Okay, those are out. Now, will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meeting, and whereas the Borough Clerk has posted a consent agenda for this meeting. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the consent agenda previously prepared by the Borough Clerk be approved without the necessity of having individual resolutions read by the Borough Clerk.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that the resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Okay, will the clerk please read Resolution 18-042 by title?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown appointing members to the Office of Emergency Management.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just for clarification for me, are council members allowed to be members of this committee? Because we have Rich Revelinsky on here, and we have Ron Dixon as liaison, but is Councilman Revelinsky allowed to be on this committee?
Last year, Mr. Buck, our attorney, had advised us that that was appropriate.
It's okay.
There's
So
not a quorum.
we're okay with not putting the head of public safety on this committee? The chairman of public safety on this
The
committee?
committee is chosen by the Director of the Office of Emergency Management.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just some clarification. Now, I've been on the council 9 years, and for 8 of those years, there was always a standing rule that members of the council were not to be on committees, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose. That's why there's a liaison. That's the person who goes to the committee meeting and reports back, kind of along the lines of what you had, expressed earlier about the rules of council. So I'm just confused that how did we operate one way for all these years, and then all of a sudden now we're operating in another way?
Well, I guess it all depended at the time who was the chairman of the Office of Emergency Management. As I said, they are the ones who decide who is to be on that committee. I know that the chairman doesn't take things very lightly when it comes to putting people on that. I'm sure he has good reason why he has the folks on there that he does. I cannot answer for him, but we can certainly ask him.
So is there any other committees that appoint their members?
Yes, the fire board, the firemen, I believe, nominate their fire police. Is that true, Chief?
That's correct.
Yes, so, and they are the only ones who make that decision.
So no other committees besides OEM is really a council person on there by appointment other than the liaison. So that's the only committee that I'm aware of.
Oh, Councilman Ligotti, I had
Yes.
requested to be on this and have been for the past, I believe, 3 years now.
I just think...
I'm just explaining what had happened. To be honest, I never thought of it as a conflict or anything. Last year, serving on council and being on there as well. If it's something that you'd want to discuss with the director of the Office of Emergency Management, I have no problem if you want to table this until the next meeting.
I would, if that's okay, I'd like to have a conversation with the OEM coordinator and respectfully request that the chair of the Public Safety Committee be on the OEM.
Can I make a suggestion? If you'd like to do that, there are other members who are listed on that resolution who were not appointed at reorg, who the OEM director did request that were on there. So you can make a motion to accept this resolution with the amendment to remove Councilman Revelinsky pending further review. If you're comfortable with that, only because I do know that there were other members. Councilman Revelinsky was actually on the agenda, on the resolution during the rework.
Actually, can we do something like this? If everybody's comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it. If we approve this, but yet Councilman Revelinsky and I have a conversation with the OEM director, and if he feels a change is needed, we can make it at a future meeting?
Absolutely, you can do that as well.
Rich, I think that's a better way to go.
It's fine by me.
Okay.
Would you like to amend your motion and second?
Move
Well,
that
you're
this
saying you don't want to.
resolution be adopted.
No, I just got some
Okay, so it's just
discussion.
a
I got the
standing
information
motion.
I needed, I'm good now.
Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Will the clerk please read Resolution 18-044 by title, please?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown granting permission to the Milltown 4th of July Committee to hold annual parade, 5K race, 1-mile fun run, 4th of July festivities, and 4th of July fireworks for the year 2018.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
I second.
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I asked that this one be pulled simply for the very last portion of it being the fireworks. And the reason that I asked it to be pulled is just to have the discussion here with Mr. McClellan of the timetable for construction of our new DPW and fire facility. It's my understanding that the construction of that new facility may fall in the dropout zone of 4-inch shells, I believe, if that's what we're using. And I know Russ Einbinder, you're here, and I don't think it was discussed in the last meeting, but I just want to make sure the 4th of July committee is aware of it, and it's just a matter of timetable before we have to subsequently change over and possibly move traffic further south or further west. Oh. Unless Chief Bailey, you had something you'd like to add?
Yes.
Steve Bailey, Milltown Fire Chief. That was already addressed with the Fire Marshal this past 4th of July, and they're already working on that. They are aware, and I'm not sure if they've talked to you, but I know they're aware of the confines, and they've already, last year they adjusted the exclusion zones. So that's already a concern with the Fire Marshal and local OEM and Police Department.
Okay.
So that is being addressed as to what can be done and what we need to do for the fireworks. That has been on the thoughts since the project started.
Right, okay, I wasn't sure with timetables of what it looks like for the project going on, so. But just something to keep in mind that we need to coordinate.
Any other discussion?
Well, yes, Mr. Mayor, I guess it would matter for the size of the fireworks, right? I think, if I remember right, 75 feet per inch of firework,
100, I believe.
100?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm not a pyrotechnist. That has been, I'm sorry, that has been discussed with the fire marshals or the size of the shell. So if they have to adjust the exclusion zone, they will go with a smaller shell to make sure the safety of the town, of the residents, everything is intact at any of the structures.
Right, but my question is, I guess the members of the 4th of July Committee would need to know when they order the fireworks, right? They don't want to order 4-inch fireworks.
I agree with that. That's something that, I guess, with the 4th of July Committee, when they contact, I guess the fire marshal would have to be involved with that anyway, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so.
So they will address that, I guess, at that time. And obviously, they should contact the proper to make sure that everything is, we'll see where the project's at that time, but
Sure.
that has been brought up.
Good. Thank you. I think, Russ, you might have some information on that?
Russ Onbonjo, 220B South Main Street, 4th of July Committee. Yes, we actually had a monthly meeting last night, and it's one of the things we're addressing, of course, is with the fireworks company, excuse me. Basically, the zone, according to, we have one of those little walkers and stuff, and Bill Johnson from OEM also did some measuring of the zone. We're going to do some more. Basically, the part that is infringing, that would probably be the 4-inch shells and things like that, that would be too close technically, is the part that makes up the finale, which is on a bunch of platforms, which is on the major league field, the baseball field. So essentially what we have to do is just figure out a way, and we think we have so far with the fireworks company, just to move the finale to the part that's not there. It might change the way the show is a bit, but we can actually keep the same size shells and everything as far as we know. We're going to be confirming that in the next few weeks, actually, on an appointment and literally measuring it. And I do know a good surveyor, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. That's what we're going to be doing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Will the clerk please read Resolution 18-046 by title?
Resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown authorizing a veteran deduction and tax credit to the property.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, I had to have this pulled primarily because it's for me.
Well, that's a good thing.
I mean, I've had this service over 50 years, but I finally decided to put in for it, and it's for me, so I have to pull it, and I can't vote on it. I recuse myself from any votes.
Very good.
Can I ask a question, though? Mm-hmm. Councilman Dixon, he puts in for it, and he's a veteran, and he's entitled to it.
Yes.
Does he have to do it every year?
No.
So if a veteran here hasn't gotten it, they apply for it, they get it, and then they don't have to do it after that anymore?
Pretty much, unless the property is sold, because the widow of a vet also gets a deduction if the vets should pass.
I don't know, maybe a little blurb on the website or the TV station?
If I can go one step further,
No, you cannot.
as of this year,
Councilman
Ron,
Dixon,
You recuse yourself.
Councilman
recuse
Dixon, you're
yourself.
recused. I would advise you not to participate in this matter.
You're finished.
well, then I can't tell you what I'm going to tell you.
He said that so nicely, though.
I'll tell you after I know that.
No, just for other residents who might be veterans, who might be interested in it, how they can find out.
I actually have a question. I don't know who to direct this to.
Not me.
Probably Mr. Bruder. But if you have a renter in town, can they apply for it, and then the landlord would subsequently apply?
You have to be a property owner.
No,
Just because that might become more difficult to track in regards to, a person moving in and out.
no. One deduction per property. Also, if you own multiple properties, one deduction.
Just one other question. Do we do any kind of outreach on this? I mean, are there veterans in town who don't know about this?
I would venture to guess not. Well, but.
I will,
can't answer
He can't-
I will say that I know
I'll get it.
the American Legion does quite a bit of outreach with known veterans in town to try and address
Put it
this.
on the website also.
Yeah, that would be good.
But I mean, is that something that we could put on Channel 15? Because I think that's.
Can I answer all that under council comments?
No. He's not going to let you.
Council comments, I can't do it?
No, you cannot. You cannot participate.
Cannot participate in it at all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Recuse.
Thank you. Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 5 ayes and 1 recusal.
So moved. Okay, will the clerk please read Resolution 18-048 by title, please?
Authorizing certain personnel actions, recreation, SAC, and pool.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Farkas, seconded by Councilman Legati, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just asked for this to be pulled because I'm looking at the wage, and I won't mention the person's name or anything. I'm just curious where they were before this, because it seems like looking at another person that we have on for tonight, it seems quite high. I just want to make sure that you had an opportunity to.
I did, and it's this person is going to become the site director at 2 sites. It's going to replace one, and that's actually when you look at, if you had 2 employees, it's a great savings. So that's really how we got there.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Will the clerk please read Resolution 18-049 by title, please?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown authorizing the public auction sale of various surplus items deemed unnecessary for municipal operation.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilman Revelinsky, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I asked it to be pulled specifically because I had a question that I know that they're at the end of the life. My question was, especially with the Dodge Durango that has 45,000 miles on it, how does it determine that it is at the end of the life, that it's not repairable and should be sold, and what exactly do we do with these assets? Are they sold?
We put them on gov deals and they're auctioned off. So we
Okay.
put a minimum price on, we have pictures of them, municipalities use them. The Durango, the cost to repair it would far outweigh the value and the life of the vehicle.
Okay.
So it's the mechanic who comes and, will
So-
come to me or.
Okay, that was my question. So you have a mechanic who comes and says, okay, it's going to cost this much and it's
Yes,
this
we'll
much
get
to buy
estimates and
it?
everything, comes to me and says, listen Denise, it's just not gonna.
Okay.
Per the OEM coordinator, it said the Dodge Durango had a major oil leak with repair estimate that was far in excess of the value of the vehicle.
Okay.
And that's why they put it up there.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Okay, will the clerk please read Resolution 18-050 by title?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown acknowledging the actions taken by the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. My apologies for pulling it. I just need clarification. Do we always do this every year?
It's a standard resolution that's passed every year by the Borough Council. It doesn't change the decisions of the Board of Adjustment. It's just an acknowledgement to put it in the council record.
Okay, and my second question on this was, if you look at the backup for this resolution, One of them has in bold denied. The other two don't have whether it's approved or denied. Does that just,
Because they were approved.
They were approved.
The only, it was only noted if they're denied.
that was all my questions. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions? Will the clerk please call roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Will the clerk please read Resolution 18-055 by title, please?
Authorization to execute an interlocal agreement with the East Brunswick Fire Commissioners for the purchase of a 2001 Pierce 2000 GPM engine fire suppression apparatus for an amount not to exceed $40,000.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I asked to have this pulled. I would ask council to approve this resolution here tonight for the addition of this truck. I think it's a good deal for Milltown. I am loving the price and the financing at 0%. I didn't pull it because I don't think the truck is a good idea. I pulled it because I think that the process on how we got here, it upset me a little bit. And here's what upset me, and please be patient with me. I was given public safety on January 2nd of this year. On January 3rd, I got one phone call. I made a phone call making me aware of this situation, and within 3 hours, we took possession of this truck. I understand we took possession of the truck according to the OEM director, per directions of Borough Council Mayor. My issue here with the process is that I know that a lot of this process was done in 2017, but, you know, per the mayor's request today, he doesn't want to be the all-bearing czar to make all these decisions. Our OEM coordinator picked up this truck and signed an agreement that, with my due diligence from the BA and the borough attorney, I don't think is worth the paper it's written on, because I don't think he has authorization to sign a paper like that. I don't see any problem. I did my due diligence. I called East Brunswick, the fire commissioner, very, very accommodating gentleman. Accommodating as far as to say, Milltown, you can have that truck for as long as you need it, for as long as council takes to approve it. It's a good truck. That's how confident I am on this truck, and I tend to agree with him. I was then given all the maintenance, 136 pages of maintenances that was done to this truck. I got to look through that. And again, with no disrespect to anyone, the process with East Brunswick Cooperation could have waited until the proper committee had met, which I had a public safety meeting on. All members of the committee were there. All our questions were asked, questions were answered. I notified each and every other council member of what went on. I called another council person to say, this is what I'd like to do. Do you have any questions? Per, not even knowing what you were going to say tonight, Mr. Mayor, which I think is the way it should work. But I don't think that worked in this particular case. And I would hope that it doesn't work like that in the future, and that the proper steps should be taken going forward.
Very good. Any other discussion?
I would agree with that. I would hope that in the future, the council would have the opportunity to approve the expenditure before an apparatus is purchased, signed for, brought into town, and potentially become our responsibility. I think that the process should be that the council approves it, and then the proper channels take custody of it. I think we put the cart before the horse this time, and I have a problem with doing that without the council's knowledge.
Okay, well, did the council take, did any member of the council or you sign the title of the truck?
No,
So there was no purchase?
no.
Well, there was
All right,
a,
because last I heard, and maybe the chief can correct me, didn't the East Brunswick chief said at any time we could return the truck?
Yes,
Up until the time of purchase?
I can answer that, because I've
Okay.
spoken to him.
All
and he
right.
did.
So we're,
There was an agreement signed by a
Milltown representative.
borough employee that
Okay.
really shouldn't have signed for that.
all right, was it taking acceptance of it to, accepting it to be brought here to get it out of the weather?
No,
Or whatever?
that was a detailed agreement saying that we were going to provide, we wouldn't take possession unless we provided them with proof of insurance, plates, everything like that. That agreement was very, very specific on what we were supposed to do, and we were to do it immediately, not at our leisure.
Okay. Well, there was some conflicting things then from East Brunswick, but we'll see how this all goes. Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Okay, next we will hear the report of the Department of Finance, Administration, and Planning, chaired by Council President Ron Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As of yesterday, committee members got together. We began the process of discussing the 2018 budget. We have another meeting set up this week. Our goal is, hopefully, we can get a budget together by the end of February and possibly vote on it in a March meeting. Many things we have to look at. We have gone over requests by individual departments, and we're considering those requests and asking questions about it right now. And that's the process we're in. And we'll be getting back, hopefully, after many additional meetings.
Excellent. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Next, we'll hear the report of the Department of Public Safety, chaired by Councilman Nicholas Legati.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Milltown Fire Department month-end report for December 2017. Total number of fire calls, 13, bringing our year-to-date to 127. Total number of training details, 2, year-to-date 30. Total number of work details, 4, year-to-date 52. Total number of meeting details, 1, year-to-date 21. Total number of miscellaneous details, 7, year-to-date 95. Total incidents for the month, 27, year-to-date 325. Vehicle maintenance. New tires were put on engine 72, replacing the old tires that were 14 years old. Minor repairs were made to all trucks, lights, switches, and adjustments. Training. The department finished out the year's training with a session on heating systems and training on new equipment. Membership. We currently have 2 applications outstanding, waiting for them to be returned. General announcements. The Milltown Fire Department is always looking for new members. Please stop by either firehouse on Monday nights between 6:30 and 7:30, or see our website, milltownfire.org. The Milltown Fire Department, in conjunction with the PetSmart of North Brunswick, collected and delivered over 800 stuffed animals to many organizations, including hospitals, several groups collecting toys for tots, Catholic Charities, and the PBA, and several others included. Okay. Now my police report. Monthly report. Between December 17th, 2017 and January 15th, 2017, police have answered 2018. Sorry. I'll make his correction. Okay. Police have answered 1,391 calls for service. The number includes, but not limited to, 911, medical calls, traffic incidents, walk-in reports, and public contacts. Police conducted a total of 413 motor vehicle stops, which included special traffic, including cell phone, crosswalk, seatbelt violations. 73 radar and traffic calming details were conducted in various locations during this time period. Police responded to 24 motor vehicle accidents and made 44 arrests, which included theft and drug and alcohol-related offenses. Chief Kennelly is proud to announce the implementation of the Bike Patrol Unit, which will enhance the community outreach function of the police department. The unit will also assist in all daily patrol and traffic functions. Our 2 new police bicycles were purchased using donations by local businesses and organizations that we thank for their support. The bike unit will be placed into service this spring. Milltown Police Department continues to maintain all mandated training requirements, and we continue to train and practice the highest standards in law enforcement. Police will continue strict enforcement of traffic laws, including speeding, cell phone use and pedestrian crosswalks. We encourage residents to remain vigilant by calling and reporting any suspicious activity and traffic concerns. Chief Kennelly and the entire police department would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 2018. In closing, Chief Kennelly would like to thank everybody for their kind words, thoughts, and prayers during his mother's illness and after her passing on January 18th. Thank you to everybody for your attendance at her memorial service. It was very much appreciated. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from the Department of Utilities, chaired by Councilman Richard Revelinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the month of December, the Utility Department had the following work: 51 daily station checks. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo. 31 substation checks, 68 utility markouts. Disinfectant residual testing was performed on December 6th, 13th, and the 20th. All testing was found to be within the acceptable parameters. Dead and nuisance tree branches were removed in numerous areas throughout the borough. For the electrical utility, 6 street lights were repaired. Holiday decorations were installed on Main Street. Various electric meters were replaced. A residential service drop was repaired at 361 North Main Street. Aerial coax cable was installed for the new security cameras. Lighting was repaired at the Milltown Public Library. New fixtures have been ordered and to replace the old fluorescent fixtures with flat panel LED lighting. PSE&G is running a new 26 kilovolt line down North Main Street. This line will replace one of the lines that is currently on the transmission towers. The borough will benefit by installation of new poles, transformers, improved sectionalizing, and new secondary wiring. For the water department, water main breaks were repaired at 56 JFK Drive, 163 Clay Street, and 46 Borum Avenue. If you have not already done so, please register with Nixle for updates. Numerous broken water meters were replaced throughout the borough. And as for metering, as always, the utility department works hand in hand with the utility billing department to ensure accurate utility charges. We troubleshoot faulty meters and work very hard to resolve any billing issues that occur. If you believe an error in billing has occurred, please contact the utility billing department at your earliest convenience. Water main breaks. A little public education here for the folks at home and everyone here in the audience, but to make these repairs, oftentimes the water has to be diverted or pressure reduced in the area of the break so that a repair can be made. The amount of homes affected depends on the proximity of valves to the break location, which results in changes to the outage or reduced pressure areas for each break. Please note that whenever valves are operated, changes in water flow occur and sediment may be stirred up, causing harmless, discolored water. This does not mean that dirt and debris have entered our water system from the break. If required, a boil water advisory will be issued. After the repairs are made, a hydrant is usually opened up in the close proximity to flush any sediment out. Sometimes this sediment travels to areas that are not near the breaks, and as it dissipates into the system, it is unpredictable. The best way to stay informed about water main breaks is to subscribe to Nixle. The utility department works very hard to coordinate repair efforts and keep residents informed on water main breaks and the affected area via Nixle. Notifications are typically issued prior to making water main repairs to alert residents of a pending outage or possible discolored water situation. Nixle is a free service available at www.nixle.com. That's NIXLE.com. And will send a text message right to your phone with important information about public safety and utility work. A message to motorists. Please be careful driving through town. When you see police strobes or amber strobes on utility vehicles, please slow down and pay attention. Amber and orange strobes and traffic cones alert you to utility work being performed and workers in the roadway. Traffic may be diverted or stop and go. Please be considerate of the crews that are trying to restore services to the residents and make improvements to our town. A reminder to all residents, if you have a water, sewer, or electric emergency, you can call Milltown Police Dispatch at 732-828-2100, extension 0, for service at any time. For non-emergency situations like reporting a street light out or a leaking fire hydrant, you can call the utility office at 732-828-2100, extension 137. If you have any questions about water or electric service or your water or electric bill, please call the billing department at 732-828-2100, extension 183. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Public Works and Recycling, chaired by Councilwoman Dorianne Kerber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The DPW Borough Council report, along with all curbside collections, they have the following report. Snow removal took place on the following dates: January 4th, 5th, and 6th, due to the storm, which took place on January 4th. Roads, parking lots, and all borough-owned sidewalks were cleaned multiple times due to the drifting snow. Pothole repair as well as street sign repair is ongoing. DPW alongside utilities removed a tree at Southbrook Drive to access a water main break. DPW provided operators, laborers, equipment, and material to assist the utility department with numerous water main breaks around town. Locations included Clay Street, JFK Drive, Nelson and Southbrook Drive, Borum Avenue, Highland Drive, First Street, and Dale Road. All holiday decorations throughout the borough have been removed and is being stored for later this year. All holiday assaulting has taken place around town and also at the water main locations to try to keep the ice at bay. Quarterly concrete pickup has been completed. The yearly DPW newsletter is at the printers, so look in your mailboxes in the next few weeks to be delivered. Due to the winter weather, the sanitation and recycling may need to be postponed or canceled. We thank you in advance for your patience during these times. Channel 15 and milltownnewjersey.org, you can check for DPW updates. And that concludes the DPW report. The Green Team met, and we are definitely working on our Sustainable Jersey certification. We are registered, so we're able to apply for grants this year. So I'm very happy with several state grants that are available, including the Sustainable Jersey that's currently due for February 28th, and we'll have that on the resolution for next month's meeting. That's all we're working on right now. They are going to be assisting at the health fair, show of presence as well. And the other thing I reached out to Dr. Abrupta with the Milltown Public Library about the rain garden, so they're looking into that, if that can possibly be done. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Environmental Health and Social Services, chaired by Councilwoman Trina Mayer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Environmental Commission will not meet until the end of the month, so I do not have a report on that. However, I do have a reminder that dog and cat licenses must be renewed by January 31st. Please bring the rabies certificate and spay-neuter certificate if the animal is fixed, as well as the fee for the animal, and Borough Clerk's office will renew the license for you. Please note that rabies vaccinations must be good through November in order for the animal to be licensed. Applications are available at the clerk's office. Also, I attended the night after the reorg, the first zoning board of adjustment meeting where they had their reorganization, and Jack Bisco is the chair and Ann Hardo is the vice chair. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Parks and Recreation, chaired by Councilman Randy Farkas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy New Year. We are looking forward to a brand new year with new and exciting trips, programs, and events. We want to thank everyone for their continued support and look forward to an even better year. We thank you for your ongoing patience with the Recreation/SAC departments, as we are very challenged with our programs that have more than tripled in size, and as our staffing continues to be limited. So I'm going to repeat that for everyone. We thank you for your ongoing patience with the Recreation/SAC department, as we are very challenged with our programs that have more than tripled in size, and as our staffing continues to be limited. We would like to thank all our volunteers that help us outside of the office in our programs. Without them, our programs wouldn't be as successful as they are. Along with the daily operations of deposits, registration forms, purchasing requests, as well as scheduling and interviewing new seasonal staff for the summer, the Recreation Department also has the following. SAC reminders. If school has a delayed opening, there is no AM SAC. PM SAC will go until 6 p.m. unless a decision is made by 12 noon for inclement weather to close PM SAC. Parents will be notified via email and Facebook. If you have not paid your January SAC fees, please do so and remember to include the late fee. Monthly SAC fees are due the month prior. This does not include per diems. The Recreation Department is now accepting summer employment applications for the Borough Pool and Albert Avenue Summer Recreation Program. The deadline for all applications is March 1st. If you have worked prior, you still must submit an application for employment. You may obtain an application online. All applicants must be 15 years old by March 31st, no exceptions. For pool managers and supervisors, you must be at least 21 years old. Please note again the deadline for application is March 1st. The deadline for eligibility is March 31st. Adult yoga has begun and is almost full once again. We are also holding an adult-child yoga class, which is set to start on Saturday, January 20th, to March 31st, for ages 5 to 9 years old, accompanied by an adult. Forms have gone out through the schools and are up online. Look for registration forms mid-February for spring tennis, spring soccer, and Fundamental Fours T-ball. They will be available at the Rec Department, email blasted through the schools, available online, and sent out through Constant Contact. If you still have not signed up to get Rec Ramblings news and updates via email, please contact the Recreation Department to get on the list. Don't miss deadlines, programs, and events. There is an opt-out option if you no longer wish to receive the emails. Trips to look forward to. Mets vs. Yankees at Citi Field, Saturday, June 9th. Broadway show, Beautiful, May 20th. American Girl Place, coming in June. If you are interested, please contact the Rec Office. Hunterdon Hills Playhouse, Steel Magnolias, coming in April. We are always looking for trip and event ideas. Please contact the Recreation Office. The Recreation Committee will meet on Wednesday, January 17th, 2018, at 7 p.m. at Borough Hall. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is introduction of ordinances, and tonight we have one. Will the clerk please read ordinance number 18-1453 by title?
Calendar year 2018, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 48:4-45.14.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this ordinance. What is your pleasure?
Move that this ordinance be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be held at our next regularly scheduled council meeting, which is February 12th at 7 p.m. in council chambers.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the ordinance be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be held at our next regularly scheduled council meeting, February 12th, 7 p.m. at Barrow Hall. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I'm hoping that we'll only have to do this once this year, so we can get the budget approved before the second one comes
That's why we're
through.
doing it early.
Can I ask a question, Denise?
Yes.
Does this ordinance do two things? does it give us permission to exceed the municipal budget, and then it establishes a cap bank? Is it doing two things?
Yes, according to statute, yes, it is and everything, but generally what happens and everything is we establish a cap bank, but we generally don't go over the percentage, okay, if you can follow me. We're allowed to go to 2%, but by adopting this ordinance, we actually can go to 3.5%. It protects us in case there's any inflation, if gas prices go through the roof or anything really goes crazy. But what it does, it really allows us to establish a bank for future budgets.
Okay, and in your experience, have we ever gone over the cap?
No.
No.
We're not allowed to.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
We've done this since 2010. Every
Yeah,
year we've done this, but we've always done it later in the year. This year we decided to do it early before we even get the budget in, just get it in place. If we don't use it, we don't use it. It's there, it's there.
It'll be there for future.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Is there any old business to come before the council this evening?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I would like to amend a resolution, make a motion to amend Resolution 18-013, the schedule of council meetings. Okay. So I would like to amend it to, I would like to change it to have 2 council meetings a month.
Second.
Okay, that was a resolution that was passed during the reorg?
Correct.
Okay.
So my reasoning, Mayor, and audience members, would be that specifically for what Mayor Stieber was talking about, I'm a new council member, and I get my packet, and I have to find out what's going on, and it's only once a month. And I do believe, and I'm actually have notes here, I'd like to read it, that the backbone of open and transparent government is the ability of the residents to participate. By reinstating the twice-monthly meetings, it will provide the residents with the ability to publicly address their elected officials and ensure timely management of borough affairs. And also, I would say that if we had one agenda meeting and perhaps one working session, as to the mayor's point before, it would give us all 6 council members a chance to sit and interact with each other, which we don't get a chance to do in the format that it is now, and it might be conducive to shorter meetings here, but also, and I actually found online, and I'll hand it out to you, that a work session would allow members to relate better to one another. It would help with long-range decision-making rather than dealing with the day-to-day management issues that we may address here. So that is why I'm making the motion to go. I think historically, for many, many years, we did have 2 meetings a month, so that is why I'm making the amendment to the resolution to go from 1 meeting a month to 2.
I would tend to agree because, so that everybody understands, we get our packet Friday late afternoon, and we have from Friday late afternoon till the Monday meeting, and obviously Friday, if offices close at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever it is, Saturday there's no one to ask questions to there. Sunday, obviously, there's not. And then you have to run around on Monday to try and get as much information as you can on multiple things if needed, so that we're not seeing something for the first time, looking at it, and then we have to vote on it. I think an agenda meeting, maybe a work session, 2 meetings a month, I think can only help bind and help this council make decisions better in its future.
And not only do we, as the council, have to call up and find out what's going on, but if the residents see the agenda, they have no option as to find out what's going on. If they see the agenda, and the work session would be open to the public as well with the sunshine laws, but it would allow us more chance to interact with one another, make plans, cross party lines, and really come up with a vision for Milltown.
Okay, we've never had we've never had a request to have a resolution redone on the fly before?
Right.
Is that something that is permitted?
There's nothing really precluding it. It's typically, motions on resolutions would be resolutions that are on the agenda already, and that would be the preferred course. There's nothing really precluding a motion made from the floor to revisit a prior resolution. I cannot say there's anything that precludes it.
Right, and Mr. Mayor, it was the reorg, there was a lot of people here and things like that, and I was brand new, so after having time to see how things work, that was the reason that I didn't bring it up when it was on the resolution last time.
My concern with the amendment of this resolution, I'm sorry, when we were passing it, I didn't realize.
You have to amend the rules of council.
I would have to amend the rules of council, but also there are dates specific for advertisement in the resolution, and I do know that because I pulled up the resolution on Dropbox, there are some dates that were switched and changed due to holidays, and I know November is later than we normally would, so I'd actually have to go back to the calendar to make sure that there's no conflicts with the other committees and agencies that have already adopted and advertised their meetings.
Fine.
So if
it's up to the council if it doesn't have to be on a Monday night. I mean, we can maybe work out and see how that would work. I mean, and to that point also, I know that a lot of people I've heard showed up last Monday for the council meeting, even though we said at the reorg that it was the 16th. It was on several sites that the meeting was January 8th. Alan Godfer was here, Robert Schulman was here, so, right. Right. So,
Well, if the borough attorney says there's nothing precluding it, then can't we vote on it?
Well, I'm saying because the only
Well,
because
we
don't
don't have
actually
to
have a
do this.
schedule to vote because we'd have to make the schedule to go through.
well, could we just
dates.
say that we say, okay, yes or no for that, and then go into the schedule, into the weeds of the schedule more, so we just could say yay or nay for the idea of it, and then do the
If it's
actual
starting in
dates
March,
another
doesn't
time?
have
Well, it could definitely be more of a consensus, and then for the February meeting, or if you'd like to schedule.
Right.
Actually, I don't
And
know
I'd
what the
let me
schedule
just
is
say
for
that,
January.
summer, July and August, I think we always would do one, and maybe December. So it would really only be 9 months out of the year to have 2 meetings a month.
Now, would it be an agenda meeting and 2 separate council
Well,
meetings?
That could,
That's 3 meetings a month.
Correct.
no,
Back in the past, many moons ago, when I was a younger lad, we had, the first Monday was an agenda meeting. That was just for agenda discussion. The second and fourth were council meetings. So there was 3 meetings a month.
I don't think that's what she's asking
no,
for.
I'm saying
asking for one agenda.
one like we have now, and then just one additional, so 2.
So
Two
an
meetings.
agenda,
Not
the-
3.
an agenda the second Monday and a council meeting the fourth Monday? Or no? Is that?
That's-
But again, I don't know how the calendar necessarily.
Right, so I mean, something like that, or the agenda meeting, just like we have it now, and a working session
Do
at
we-
some
do
point
we
in
have-
between, so it's not a full month between meetings.
Do we have someone scheduled in the council chambers on the first Monday
I honestly,
that
I
you know?
don't know the schedule, and I don't have the room schedule
I have it.
here. The schedules haven't fully been updated on the calendar on Outlook.
I
or
think
in
what
my
she's
office.
asking for is for us to revert back to what we were before we went to 1 meeting a month a few years ago.
So what my
At your leisure, I mean, and if it's, it doesn't have to be set in stone right now, that's
So what
totally
my
fine.
suggestion, because a meeting schedule, you actually have to have dates so that we can advertise them.
Correct.
If it's the consensus of borough that that's how we move forward, even if it's not an official vote,
Okay.
what we can do is I can work on creating a schedule that mimics what you're saying, and then it would be in a resolution that would be up for adoption in February.
Here's my.
Is
Fine.
that
Fine
acceptable?
with me.
Well,
Because otherwise I don't know how to adopt it without.
I have a question for the attorney. Mr. Attorney, could we take a voice vote to see if the council would consider a change, non-binding?
Well, that would be a modification to the motion that's on the floor.
Correct.
So you would make, so there would be a motion and a second to modify the pending motion on the floor.
Right, because if the majority of the council is dead set against it, then it's not going to go anywhere. But if they would consider it, then it would be worth pursuing, getting the dates. Everybody knows when it's going to be, find out if there's going to be somebody on, and then we can put it together for real and do it, and maybe start, if we do it,
Well, we
in
could
March.
just do a vote. I mean, I made the motion, Nick seconded it, so we could, why can't we just all vote on it?
Because you made a motion to amend a previous resolution.
Right.
So if
We
he's
have a
looking
motion
for a
on the floor.
If I could
non-binding
make
voice vote, it would need to be a new motion.
If we could table the
just-
motion and bring it up at our next regularly scheduled meeting, it gives us all opportunity to talk about it and come up, we can get answers, we could possibly put it together in February's
I'd rather
meeting.
just set it in motion right now.
I didn't hear you, ma'am.
I'd rather at least set it in motion tonight, whether we're yay or nay. I mean,
By
because that way
tabling it,
she
I
doesn't
think we
even have to.
still did if we all
Because
talk
if she
about it.
doesn't start looking for the dates until
Fine.
February, then we're already into March.
Well, if, I think before we take a vote on something or
should double
pursue,
vote it.
well, I think in reality, we should all have a discussion, and I don't know if we want to take 2 hours to discuss all the fine points of it, but
Go ahead.
I'm thinking about the residents at home that might not want to hear every last detail, but, you know, to take a consensus, to understand, I think that perhaps tabling it might be in the best move, because it gives all of us an opportunity to speak amongst ourselves and with each other, and then be able to present, is it, number one, feasible with the schedules currently, and what else would have to change, as well as bring our speaking points to the table and say, these are why I agree with it, these are why I don't. Personally, I think that having basically a fourth Monday taken away, that we kind of use already as a floater, if something comes up, we know it's free. I don't think it would be in the best interest, or that there's things that we can't handle outside of that. I'm not saying I'm vehemently opposed to it.
I just
think that, perhaps a little bit more time, and you'll see that we'll be able to take care of a lot of these issues with discussions amongst ourselves and between each other, and then bringing to council and to the people, you know,
Yeah,
the
but-
discussions that we've had in those resolutions.
But, Rich, with all due respect, that's not open to the public. And my reasoning for doing this is so that the public can attend open public meetings, not our conversations or what comes from our committees, or that it's more open to people. And it's not a fourth Monday, or it would eliminate the need for the special night. It would be 2 meetings a month that's open to the public, and it would allow us to get together in one of the sessions and not be all of us sitting here, not facing one another, not talking, but to roll up our sleeves and get some work done for the people of Milltown, and to show them that instead of taking one night a month and then having a bunch of committees that they're not privy to, that 2 nights a month they are free to come here, they will have an agenda, and they will be able to see what is going on in the borough of Milltown. And I really don't think that that's too much to ask, and I think historically that's the way it was done up until maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, the public is able to come to all of the committee meetings, right? I mean, they're not prohibited from doing so, but I think perhaps better communication comes in the sense of having a public calendar and saying this is when and where these meetings are going to be held. So if you'd like to chime in, you have something to discuss or want to follow through with, then by all means show up. They're not exclusive to just the members of the committee.
Okay, let me try to refocus. We have a motion on the floor that is looking to alter, change the rule of council, right, of when we're going to meet.
They didn't, the motion on the floor is actually to amend Resolution 1813, which is the schedule of borough council meeting. The rules of council is actually separate.
Right.
And
It's just
so,
to amend the schedule.
Okay, 1813, okay, but we don't know when it's going to be.
no.
Okay, so that hasn't been determined yet. So that's a motion on the floor, okay? If there was another motion that said, okay, we can look into it and come back and have some hard dates, like a schedule,
Right.
what would the year look like?
You
Make
can-
it work and bring it
Yeah.
back to the next meeting?
You can amend the motion to instruct the borough clerk to prepare a meeting schedule to reflect 2 meetings a month for consideration at the February meeting, if that's what you choose, right?
I make said motion.
Now, hold on a
Order.
second.
No, there's no
Before we go anywhere, there's an attorney sitting over there.
Yeah, it's going to be a motion to table the motion that's on the floor, as well as to instruct the clerk to
Put together a,
put together a schedule, and then that motion would you'd vote on that motion first.
right.
Before you make
But
that
that goes
motion,
against what you just said, because why would we have Gabriella do all the work to put a schedule together if we don't even know if we're going to vote on having 2 meetings a month?
Well,
You never know when
it would be to prepare a resolution to be for consideration, right? Wouldn't that, I mean, the schedule would come back as a resolution, the way I did 1813.
The schedule would come back as part of an actual resolution on the agenda, which would be to revise Resolution 18-13 to provide for 2 meetings a month, and it would specify dates that would be available for those meetings.
And if Councilwoman Mayor doesn't want to rescind her motion, what's the outcome?
Okay, protocol is that if there is a superseding motion placed on the floor, that motion is voted on, and then depending on how that motion is voted on, if the superseding motion is affirmed, then that essentially negates the underlying motion, or essentially resolves it. If the superseding motion is voted down, then you return to the first motion on the floor.
And just one more bit of
Yes.
discussion on her motion is that I think also included in the audience and residents' participation in more meetings, I think what it will also eliminate is, we had 15 consent resolutions today. I think 8 of them were pulled. I think that would eliminate pulling a lot of consent resolutions going forward.
I would hope so. Okay, so do we have another motion on the floor, or just Councilwoman Mayor's motion on the floor?
I would like to make a motion to table, I'm going to keep
Pending
an eye
motion
on
the
you,
floor.
to table Councilwoman Mayor's motion and
Till we get all the facts.
amend or create a new motion instructing the clerk to do what she said earlier.
Excuse me, if there's a motion on the floor, that has to be acted on first.
No.
If there's
No.
a superseding
That's
motion
just
put
no.
forth, that gets acted on, and depending on how that's voted on, if it's voted down, then you return to the original motion. If, on the other hand, it's that the superseding motion is approved, then that essentially resolves the underlying motion, just as a matter of parliamentary law.
Okay.
So that having been said, there's a motion to table Councilwoman Mayor's motion from the floor, and further, so it's a 2-part motion to table, and further to instruct the clerk to perform due diligence in researching the subject.
Yes.
So there's a motion, there would have to be a second before it can be considered.
Second.
Okay, then I have on top of that a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that there would be a tabling of Councilwoman Mayor's original motion and an instruction to the borough clerk to put together a schedule of potential meetings in the future. Any discussion? I have discussion. The discussion would be this: I would ask the clerk to reach out to all council people to find out what their schedules are, because I'm sure, and including myself, I'm going to have to change some things around in my life in order to attend these meetings if it's something that the council decides it's going to do. And I'm sure other people do too. So we're going to need a little lead time. So please feel free to reach out to folks.
I thought we just said that we were all going to have Mondays pretty much available for council.
That's what it's supposed to be. I'm not disagreeing with you. That's why I brought it up tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the vote is being done on the motion by Councilman Revelinsky.
To table.
Will
To
the
table.
clerk call the roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
No.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
No.
Councilwoman Mayer.
No.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 3 ayes and 3 noes. Can the mayor break this tie?
Yes, the mayor.
Mayor
in any
Stever?
circumstance.
Yes.
Well,
I'm only kidding.
wait, is that your vote, or is that you just answering me?
I'm with you. I'm just fooling around here. No, I think it's a great idea. I think having more meetings, personally, I think is a great idea. I would certainly welcome them. I will vote to table it in the affirmative because I want this to be put together as a package and give it the best effort. Unfortunately, if we just vote, my feeling is if we vote on it now, it kind of leaves it open. It says, okay, we're going to have meetings, but we don't know what they're going to be. So let's put something together, find out how it's going to be, and this way we can get a 6-0 vote next time around. I think we're doing something good here.
Thank you.
Okay, then we have 4 ayes and 3 noes. Special learn how to count.
Yeah, well, now we have 4 ayes and 3 noes.
So,
So that will table Councilwoman Mayer's motion. But this is a victory for everybody sitting here, because compromise is still a victory. So, very good job to the council. Thank you.
We're done with the motion name for now. Okay. I'd just like to actually reiterate Councilwoman Mayer's comment. I too find it a little difficult that we receive these, whether it be on a Thursday night or a Friday late in the evening. And I'm wondering if, and I know, Gabrielle, this puts a little bit more strain on you as well as the departments to get things together, but would it be possible to get these a week in advance? So that we have, even if it's, say, by Monday evening the previous week, so that we have a week to go around and discuss and answer some of the silly questions that we may have about, wait, is that what this is? Oh, it is?
I think the only way that could possibly work is if we did a meeting the 2nd and 4th, because then you could have it like a little bit before, because we have stuff coming in all the time. And depending on if the council decides to do, like I said, 1 agenda, 2 council meetings, or 1 agenda, 1 council meeting, you know, that really should be something that really needs to be discussed and figured out. So I think during your whole contacting everyone, try to put together something comprehensive. But I think what I was getting was that they're looking to do an agenda 1 week, and then a council meeting another week. Was it 1 agenda and 2 council
similar to what we
meetings?
have now.
Well, we'll have to decide on that, Mayor.
Okay,
We'll all have to put our heads together and figure out what works best for all of us, right?
all right. Or the universe might decide that just 1. But we'll find out. It's going to be very interesting and a good test.
Okay, whatever we decide, or whatever council decides and all, I just need to be involved with paying bills and all, because when we did have 2 meetings a month, we generally spent money on that 4th Monday. If we go back to 2 meetings a month, just for maybe the beginning and all, I'd like to be able to, and I have to spend money on both meetings, okay, because of the way my bills are and the way their due dates are and whatnot.
Right. I was going to add that
Yeah, we'll take action.
everything that we do in regards to meetings hinges off of our financial responsibilities.
Thank you.
So everything has to go, really the final word in my mind goes to your office, because we have to pay our bills, and they have to be done timely.
Thank you.
Yes, it's certainly not to disrupt anything. It's
Right.
more to make it more efficient for all of us to work
Now,
together.
you know, we have
That's good.
I would assume that the business would be status quo just the way it is now. It's just adding 1 additional for us to sort of get our ducks in order before we actually come here and be more official.
Okay, sounds good. Any other old business?
Just a point of clarification on this. Is this tabled or tabled for action at the next meeting?
It would be tabled for action the next time it's requested to be placed on the agenda, which I assume would be the next council meeting.
Okay, well, does the
So do I
motion say
have to
that?
make is it going to be a resolution on the next thing, or do I have to make a
I think
motion?
It was instructed for me to do my due diligence, so I'll prepare the resolution, and I will provided.
We expect it to be on for the next
Right.
meeting. Right. That was part
I'll
of
be
the.
watching, Gavin.
That was all part of the discussion we were having. Okay.
Well, when you table something, the table's open-ended. So, I mean, I think there has to be some direction in the motion
For the next meeting.
for action at the next meeting. So that's, I just
Right.
wanted a clarification on
Right.
that.
And then we're going to do a short table.
End table.
End table, yes.
I'll make sure it's on there, Randy. That's the first thing I'll go to in my facts.
Sure.
Okay, any other old business? Seeing none, any new business to come before the council this evening?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Saturday, Russ, I'll wait for you. Saturday, January 27th, 2018, at the VFW Clark Moats, Post 2319, at 45 Broad Street. The Milltown 4th of July Committee, thank you, Russ, will be having an annual karaoke night. Please come out. It's a great time. I've been to them myself. If you don't want to hear me sing, you can still make a donation. But it's $20. Donation includes general admission, beer, and soft drinks, as well as there's a variety of food for sale. Tickets are available in advance from any 4th of July committee member or Mike's Country Market or at the VFW Post. So, folks, if you're free, January 27th, come on out. It's a good time.
Any other new business?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Everyone on the council and the mayor should have received a copy of this proposal. Just a little background. Last year, Councilman Ligotti and I received a grant from the Middlesex County Recreation Grant, and we approached the Milltown Little League to ask what we could do to further enhance the Little League. And there are two gentlemen here tonight, the president of the Little League, Eric Oleksky, and Coach Pete Strom from the Milltown Padres. And we asked them to come to kind of give a little presentation about what kind of impact we can achieve for the children in Milltown if we install lights on Field 2. So if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to ask President Oleksky to come up and kind of give a little presentation.
Absolutely. Welcome, sir.
Eric Oleksky, 31 Bruce Cortman, President of Milltown Little League. Thank you, Councilman Farkas. So, Council, I just want to start by first saying thank you very much for your support, Mr. Mayor, Council. I just want to recap our 2017 season for you. We had a wildly successful baseball and softball season in 2017. Our spring season, our 12U team played for the district championship game. We were all but one run shy of bringing back the first ever 12U district championship that we've had in Milltown. We've had 11 U's, and we were one run shy. This past fall, for travel ball, we brought home 3 championships for the travel teams. We had our 8s, our 10s, and our 13s all win championships. This is highly competitive travel ball where we're playing against other communities 3, 4, 5 times our size with lots and lots of kids to recruit from. So we're really proud of that. We had over 225 kids enrolled in the spring. We had 150 kids enrolled in our fall program. It was the highest enrollment that we've had in fall in several years. So we're really happy about that and the enhancements that we did. And candidly, we couldn't have done that without the support that we get from you and the community. So thank you very much for that. Councilman Farkas had come to us with regards to this grant, and for a long time we've been seeking additional lights. So right now in Milltown we have 2 fields with lights, one of them being Michelin Field and the second one being the major field at Borough Park. Michelin Field is what they would call a 60-90 field. It has a larger dimension field of play, which is not used for Little League unless it's for our junior division, which is 13 years old and older, as well as for the middle school team. And we host one high school game there each year, which is also very successful for us. It's an opportunity for our Milltown, boys that kind of went up to Spotswood to come back and play their final game in Milltown on their lights. So, but for the Little League, it really doesn't do a lot. So we have one field with lights, Borough Park, and with the stats that I just told you and the success that our league is having, the growth that we're having, it's absolutely in high demand to be able to play ball under the lights. Once that I didn't share with you is we had our first ever girls travel softball team championship. So USABL, which is our travel division, through the Padres, which we play with, we brought home a 14U championship for that. So that was really something amazing. So And we wouldn't have been able to do that if we weren't able to play under lights. Our fall programs especially get cut short with the lights. So through speaking with Councilman Farkas and a true partnership that we have with Pete Strom and the Milltown Padres and the other travel programs that we have in town, we have an opportunity before us where we can get a significant amount of the portion paid for to add lights onto Field 2. We looked at Field 2, and the reason why and for those of you who aren't familiar with Field 2, if you're at Borough Park, Field 2 is the field closest to the major field in the back. There's a brown shed over there. We're looking at that field because that field has the most adaptability to it. We can change it for 3 different styles of play. It can accommodate baseball, it can accommodate softball, it can accommodate 46-60, it can accommodate 50-70. It's kind of out of the way. Where the lighting is now on the major field, the new lighting would go up right next to it, so it wouldn't create any hardship to anybody that's in the neighboring Bruce Court. I live on Bruce Court. I'm right there. I can tell you that the additional lights wouldn't have any impact there. I heard earlier some 4th of July committee stuff. How awesome would it be to be able to illuminate that portion of the field where the fireworks are lit up after the 4th of July fireworks are done? For the Milltown Police Department, they'd have the ability to control the lights as well. They could illuminate that area of the park, which is very often dark, especially with the new community building going up. That borders that part of the woods over there. Having lights on that field could be extremely useful for that as well. So, on behalf of the Little League, we did submit the proposal that Mr. Farkas and Ms. Savoni shared with you. I realize that we weren't in time to make it on the agenda for tonight. I would, however, ask that you please dissect it and review it. We are super excited to have the opportunity to hopefully come back in February and find it on the agenda and talk about it more. In the interim, my contact information is in there, and I know Mr. Strom's available as well. We would love to talk to you more about it if there's any issues, questions, comments, or concerns. But I can tell you, and I'll close with this, we just completed our spring registration for baseball. I know it's going to snow tonight, and we're talking about baseball, but we just completed our spring registration, and we're sitting at over 200-plus registrants right now, which traditionally we're around 225, but at this time of year we're usually sitting around 180. So we're ahead of expectation. I will tell you that Milltown is a baseball and softball-oriented community. I shared this last year when I had the privilege of standing before you. I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. I go to JK, and I was just there again for parent-teacher night, and it touches me when I walk through the halls, and I look. Every kid writes, I want to be a baseball player when I grow up. I want to be a softball player. We really, truly are. It is the biggest sport that we have in town. So I would ask you to please consider it. And again, if there's any issues, questions, comments, or concerns, or thoughts in the interim, I'd be happy to either answer them tonight or more appropriately during the February meeting or even in between meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Can we just make sure that we get this on the agenda for next meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I would request, if we could, in the interim, Denise, if you could please set up a meeting with yourself, Councilman Farkas, Councilman Dixon, and have this gentleman's phone number handy. Maybe you get in the room because we're going to be talking money and we're going to be talking recreation.
Budget, yeah.
So let's get right to it and see what we got to do. And see if this is something that the town wants to get involved in. And we should know pretty quick. So if we get the
Super. And please include Mr. Strom as well. We truly are partnering on this together as well.
All right, yeah, let's grab Mr. Strom's number too. This way, if they have any questions, they can reach out to you and formulate, and then get right back. And when we're ready for the agenda, we'll be ready to go.
Sounds good. Mr. Mayor, if I could make a suggestion that Councilwoman Kerber also be there, and simply because the last time we had an issue with the Little League field and trying to change the mound, the Recreation Department clearly stated that the fields are not their responsibility, it's Public Works. So Ralph's input would be beneficial. So if Councilwoman Kerber or Ralph could be there as well, I think that would be really making sure that we've got all the players in the same room.
That would be huge.
I don't have a problem with that.
Because then you got three and it's not.
Yeah, we go. Okay, very good.
There's even the possibility with Ralph's team to maybe defer some of the costs with installation and things with lights, so it would be critical to have that group there as well.
Sounds great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I see that you're looking at Musco lighting.
Yes.
Okay. If they have any I don't know if you've gotten to the point of plans or anything at this point in time, but if you have anything, if you can get that in and we can get it over to the engineer so Mike can have a look at it. We want to see the candles and the footprint and
Yeah,
where it's
absolutely.
going and everything.
We can send over everything that we've gotten so far. The reason why we call them Must Go First is they're the ones who did the current lighting that's on the major field,
Correct.
as well as Michelin.
Yep.
They're also the Little League approved lighting vendor. They pretty much do almost every set of lighting on every field everywhere that you go.
Is it possible to get the information you have on an electrical, like if you could email it over to those guys?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, sure.
Mike, if you want to grab these guys after the meeting,
Sure.
get the information. This way, he can take a quick look, he could report to them, they get everything rolling, and then we're off and running.
We can certainly do that. Thank you very much.
Sounds great.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else, Councilman?
That's it.
Okay, any other new business?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to mention the Milltown Chamber of Commerce. We met, and there's going to be a change of meetings. We're going to have a breakfast meeting, and then every other month we're going to have a lunch meeting. So February 6th, we'll be meeting at the Garden State Bar and Grill for our current members or potential members of local businesses in town at 12:45. Thank you.
Any other new business? Seeing none, I'll close new business. Audience comments. Please state your name and address for identification for the record in the microphone in the center of the room. With that, I will open audience comments. Young man in the back waving frantically.
Russ Onbinder, 220B South Main Street. Thank you, Rich, for talking about the 4th, one of the big traditions in town. Another tradition in town, going to our 10th year. For those of you that are wondering, yes, Milltown Mel will be here this year on Groundhog Day. Same bat time, same bat place, or same hog time, hog place, however you're supposed to say it. But try and gather by the Legion around 7 in the morning, by 20 after. Hopefully that furry little guy that you like to talk about, Mr. Mayor. You always have some new adjectives every year. You add some, I know.
Well, this way at least I don't look like him this year.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't look like twins now. But he will be there. Have lots of coffee and donuts. Please eat them so my doctor doesn't yell at me if I try to eat them all. And hope to see you all there. We've been having mobs. We've had mobs even in ice storms. It's become a wonderful Milltown tradition, and it's going to keep going on.
Thank you, Russ. Anyone else?
Margaret O'Donnell, 89 Clothow Avenue. Since Mr. Dixon wasn't allowed to speak about that veterans tax rebate, and I am the manager of military and veteran engagement programs at Rutgers Business School, I'd be happy to provide you with the language needed to share that with the veterans in our town. Just let me know who to send it to.
I think if you can just send it to the business administrator, will be perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close audience comments, council comments. Hearing none, I will close council comments. Mayor's comments. That's something new this year, mayor's comments. I have a couple quick comments. I would like to welcome the new borough attorney, John Bruder. Hi, Mr. Bruder. Give him a round of applause. I forgot your striped shirt and whistle, but I have it out in the car. I'll come in and give it to you. Now, in all seriousness, John, thank you for being here. We really do appreciate your expertise, and we're looking forward to working with you for the year and perhaps into the future.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Just something real quick. Earlier in the agenda meeting, I made some statements in regards to the rules of council. And I just want to kind of give you an idea of why I made those statements. Everybody that sits up here ran for office. Okay, we took 6 months out of our lives. We walked around. We begged everybody to vote for us so we could represent you. Okay, and these are the winners. These are the people that you sent here. You, the good people of Milltown, sent me and these folks here to serve you. And by doing that, you told us that you wanted your voice to be heard. So these people all have the right to be here and to represent and say their position on things. Okay? Sometimes people get elected, and it happened to me. You get elected and you're a member of the minority party. You might only have 2 council people. And it could happen where you serve 3 years of your life on the council as a minority member. And it's very possible that you could go 3 years. Okay, you could be elected and serve for 3 years, and your voice is never heard. Okay, you can come to meetings. You could, night after night, you're away from your wife and kids. You're away from your family. You're away from other things that you could be doing, and you could be wasting 3 years of your life because you don't have the opportunity to have your voice heard. And that's sad, and that's nothing that should ever happen to any member of council. That's why I said what I did about working together and building consensus and getting things done. I don't want to go on, but I'm not going to. I just want to leave it at this, and I'm not going to say any more about it. My recommendation to this council and to any council in the future is this: work together, be open to other people's ideas and points of view. And as we learned a little bit earlier tonight, compromise is still a victory. Okay? We had a little discussion. We didn't see eye to eye through the whole process. But guess what? The process still works, and it still goes forward. And when it comes down to it, what the idea was is still moving forward. But everybody's happy. So there's compromise, and it's still victory for all involved. And the final thing is, remember that we're here to serve the residents. We're not here to serve ourselves. We're not here to serve a party. We're here for the people of Milltown. That's what we asked them to do. We said, please vote for me so I can serve you. Okay? Once you're in this chamber, politics goes out the window. Okay? You work for the people in this town, and I expect that from everybody. And I expect it from myself, too. And if I ever slip, I expect any of you to remind me of that. Okay? So I'm looking forward to a year where we work together. If we have more meetings, there's more sit-downs, there's more sharing of ideas, and people are a little bit more open and not closing off their minds because you have a different letter at the back of their name. Okay? I don't expect that. It's nice to see the guys from the Little League showed up. Things moving along. This is beautiful, and this is the way that this should work. We're a little town. We're about each other. We're about our community. Let's work together to move this town forward, folks. Okay? You get one shot at life. Don't waste 3 years of your life. That's the mayor's comments.
Mr. Mayor, may I just have a quick second to respond
You
to that?
can't.
I can't.
I wish you could, but it's the mayor's comments, and you're not allowed to.
Can we go back to the council comments?
No, we can't. With that, I will accept the motion for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. We are adjourned.
I'm someone
For you, I got
right now.